Way here at the Pacific Northwest District Champs after our brief break. Hope you got your snacks in, because now these robots are going to snack on these notes towards the speaker. Both alliances putting up decently impressive efforts here in the autonomous period. Looks like your score is going to settle out to 29 points blue, 24 points red, and drivers will now take control once more. Over towards our respective amps we go on both alliance sides of the field. There's the Sasquatch Robotics machine from Seattle for red, working on getting the first stack light turned red. And now Orf comes in from Olympia right next to him, and they balance the note on the lip of the amp. That one falls back out to the field of play. They'll try again to get that going in just a moment. The Blue Alliance Earth machine, this one of the surf variety, back to their source. Note in that robot, and it bounces around, flopping forwards as they drive that robot forwards into the Blue Alliance wall, and then the notes make their way through the speaker contraptions. Error code 0 for the Blue Alliance now on the center line, reaching up. They've got their input wheels about 3 feet up in the air there. There's no notes up in that area, let alone any you could intake that way. But maybe they're working on trying to slow down these. We've started to see the pass-forward strategy a bit. Maybe they're thinking proactively preventing that. There's Surf for the Blue Alliance now, across from Squim and over to the Blue Alliance source. Note pending, sitting on the floor, waiting for them. A minute left to play, and they'll come back across the field as their alliance trails by just 1 point. There's the Blue Alliance machine of Sasquatch Robotics racing across now, and followed immediately by the Iron Riders out of Seattle. Both towards the Red Alliance source, top right corner of the field. Now, one of them's able to get out of there pretty quick. Sasquatch has this down pat, and the Iron Riders still working out the bumps in their overall strategy. The note ends up in their robot looking a bit more like a long john than a normal, like, regular circle donut. That was an analogy that halfway worked, but the speaker fully worked over on the Red Alliance side of the field, and that amplification bonus helps cement their lead. They now lead by 7 points with 15 seconds left to play. High notes making their way in. One of them lands on a microphone for the Red Alliance, and that would spotlight a robot if there was one on that chain under it, but there is not. There is a Red Alliance robot airborne on both stage left and right for a total of 6 points of endgame score. Actually, make that 7 because there's a parked robot as well over on red. Myriad points on blue that I will let people far more qualified than I count up, and we'll get a score to you here in just a moment. Scores are in for qualification match number 16 here at Northwest District Champs. That one is going to be a Red Alliance victory. Your final score separated by just 5 points. That's 56 red to 51 blue. And 2 ranking points for each of those Red Alliance teams. Brett, we're seeing the level of competition continue to stay high. I don't think we've had a single Alliance score below like 50 all week so far. What's your thoughts here, match 16 in the books?
Well, I think, we're continuing to see strategies evolve. We're seeing teams that are really working up to that next level, some teams still figuring some things out. And as we take a look at our highlight this time around, what I want to focus on is the timing of the speaker amplification. You and I talked about that in our last match a little bit. We're going to take a look at our Red Alliance. The way you're going to notice this, you look right there at that speaker. When that turns bright red and the lights go on, we know the speaker has amplified. So let's play this clip forward, and you see robots in the vicinity getting ready to go, and there goes the amplification before the shot gets fired right there. So that was 8032 Sasquatch Robotics was the first one in position, but you saw the amplification go high first. Now there's a balancing act here because it takes non-zero, pretty close to instant time for the amplification to activate. Takes a few seconds for the note to go into the speaker, work through the processing system, and get scored. So teams are trying to find that balance where if you amplify too early, you're wasting time. If you amplify too late, then you don't get that first note scored with the amplification bonus. That one I think maybe went a little bit too early. Those teams hopefully going to work on that. But throughout the weekend, finding that balance is going to be really key because that could be 3-6 extra points depending on how many notes get in there.
Yeah, and it's every tiny little bit. I mean, we've seen cycle times. Somebody was talking recently about cycle times in the tenths of seconds adding up to nearly a full cycle by the end of the match. Every little bit counts, especially at this level of competition. I think we're ready to kick it back down to the field with Evan to meet match number 17.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Brett. Let's meet our team's qualification match 17 on the red side of the field. As always, 94-30.
From Salem, Oregon, that's C-Tech Robotics.
Joining them, it's 15-40.
From Portland, Oregon, the Flaming Chickens.
And rounding out your Red Alliance, it's 25-22.
From Bothell, Washington, Royal Robotics.
On the blue side of the field, say hello, it's 94-43.
From Seattle,